I think Mercola did the research on it. You know, only about 6% of the population can pull off a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet. You know, so can we close that door, please?
Yeah, you don't want people to know that you're here. I didn't know. I didn't see the. I saw Casey come out and then I peeked. I'm like, look, Mother Earth, yeah.
So great, yeah. Don't worry about it. A lot of people say they have to leave, so we'll see what we have to get done. But have a seat if you want, and if not, make sure you take some of the salt. One of my sponsors is Real Salt. You can take some of the salt if you want to enjoy.
I have it all at home, Troy.
You use that brand? Good company. It's domestic too, so I like that. Celtic sea salt, Hawaiian red salt, Real Salt, and Himalayan's okay. You just have to source it good because they're using C4 explosives in Pakistan to get it out of the mines. So then it has the explosive residues in it, and you got to ask the company if you're sourcing Himalayan if they've had it tested and for its purity. Everything comes down to purity, integrity, efficacy. When you're working with companies that are aligned to organics, companies that have a non-GMO policy, you want to support those companies because these are the things that support the earth. The biggest problem I see with genetically modified organisms, because the debate is still out there whether these things are actually safe for human beings or not. So the debate's already going on. I actually don't want to play the lab experiment. I understand that, you know, food in its natural source, you know, it's God-given seed in the soil, you know, grows, and that's what we need. You start playing around with the hand of God, and there can be problems. So I'm not going to wait to see that lab experiment played out on me. I'm going to eat organic food. And so when it comes to GMOs, they're basically it makes the plant stronger and resistant enough to handle more herbicides. So no matter what, you're drinking and eating more herbicides just by buying GMO. Does that make sense?
What are the foods that have GMOs?
What's that?
What are the foods that have?
Corn, canola, soy, and cotton are the dominant crops. Stay away from soy in general. It's no bueno for your hormones at all.
What if it's fermented?
That's a different story, and so you want to go to a good source, but, I mean...
Tempeh, do you think tempeh is safe or no?
I mean, I'm just not a big soy person. I think if you're going to do a little miso and a little natto, those things are high in probiotics, and they're fermented enough to get the phytic acids off of them. So I think those are a viable nutritional source.
We eat so much tempeh from the farmer's market, but it doesn't say organic, you know. And there's, you know how tempeh is made. It's soy.
I mean, soy, you want to make sure it's organic. That's like the #1 crop out there that is GMO'd. So that's why all these tag words are important. You know, we live in this community, we have access to it, and we can afford it. So it's best that you support your own bloodstream and the soil and the earth with farming practices that are conducive and congruent, that it's in harmony with the earth, right? We don't need to dominate it with just spraying chemicals, just kill stuff, weeds, kill them, bugs, kill them. You know, these things help, you know, the earth and everything. Okay.
I have a question, Troy.
Yes.
When you go to the farmer's market and you ask is it organic, and they don't have the flag or they don't have certified organic and they say they are, do you trust them or can they be just...
Yeah, farmers are fairly trustable people. So if you're asking a question point blank and they're giving you an honest answer, yeah, a lot of these farmers, they're not going to pay the thousands of dollars to get organic certification, especially if they've been growing organically for 20 years, 25 years. The government comes in, they lower the organic standards. Remember, the USDA stamp only means 3 years, no pesticides. That doesn't include composting and fallowing. These are the two components of organics that are, you know, very important. It's what Steiner developed in biodynamic. So composting and fallowing is very important for organic farming. And so if you're just not spraying, you can get a USDA certification if you can afford it. So, and a lot of these companies are jumping on the bandwagon. But they just lowered the standards. Oregon tilth and quality assurance are much higher. It's 7 years. It's composting. It's fallowing. You know, it's these other elements. But if you're talking to farmers and they're saying, look, we use heirloom seeds, we've been doing this for years, we use natural fertilizers, you know, whatever they use, whether they use chicken poop or, you can get, plus you can taste it and feel it. I mean, there's some farms in there, they say they're organic, I don't like the food. So it really comes down to vibration. You know, what I teach people for the most part is be cognizant and tap into your own intuition and your own intelligence, your innate intelligence that's imbued, it's empowered right in here. It's in your template. There's, especially as mothers, as women, you guys, like, your intuition's much higher than men. So all you have to do is really tap in. Is this right for me and my family? And it becomes pretty clear, you know. Then that way, if somebody's, you know, giving you a BS story, you know, you're like, okay. You know it in your gut. The question is are you listening? So, and one of the best ways to get back into your intuition and start flipping this on is start utilizing holistic organic principles, you know, across the board. If you get lost, you get too overwhelmed with work, head out to Yosemite. Go camping for a week. This will tune you up and reharmonize you to the natural environment. And so Einstein said, look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. So nature has all the answers. Nature, in my opinion, I worked in the Amazon for 8 years researching plant medicine and herbs with a company that I was working with. And so nature has all the answers. The other thing we have to really understand is the cycle of life includes death, right? The organic cycle of life includes death. We come from the dirt and then we go back into the dirt. And so this is an aspect that we've kind of lost in our society. I didn't grow up, I never went to funerals or I didn't grow up with death in my life. And so until I really started to face my own mortality as I got older, like we all are, you know, I started to look at it more and really start to accept this on a big level because, you know, it's about living a life worth living. And if we're all afraid of death, then we're squeaking by, you know. And so it's really about accepting the whole organic life cycle, which has a death component. So nature heals everything, even if it includes an organism isn't fit to survive and it's time to die, you know. And the question, you know, dying, it's like, it's such a taboo subject, but the fact of the matter is, you know, I was in the Amazon recently and we had some poisonous reptiles down there. And I was afraid, there's no doubt about it. But then I asked myself, you know, is it my time to die? It's not my time to die, so I'm not going to worry about it. I was swimming in the river with anacondas and piranhas. And so I like this quote by Einstein. You know, he was an intelligent human being. So this is my company. This is a movement. I'm creating a movement here. I'm aligned with other companies that have created a movement as well. Hi, Gina. So Certified Health Nut is my own brand. I had a vision in the Amazon about 8 years ago, and that's been unfolding ever since. I'm aligned with the Chek Institute. They have over 10,000 practitioners. Paul Chek is the leader in sports fitness. And then Purium and David Sandoval has been manufacturing wheatgrass and organic green superfoods for 23 years. And so this is about a movement. This is about aligning with other human beings and really turning people on viscerally. When we all have primal activation, we realize that we are intrinsically interconnected with the earth. So I studied with this gentleman for many years. His name is Papa Joe. He's a Maori healer. I had very profound experiences with him, and I've seen many miracles. I saw people dealing with fertility issues, and he would help them and work with the mother and the father, and I saw many miracles. People that could never get pregnant, spent 8 years with drugs and fertility doctors, and now they have multiple children. And so, I've been working with them for about 15 years. And I was at a midwife convention with him, and he said this quote. He said his grandfather told him, if you're not creating a legacy for your grandchildren's grandchildren, then you're wasting other people's oxygen. And so this goes along with the 7 generations of the Native Americans as well. And so we just have to be cognizant and asking what we're utilizing our energy for. Are we just automatons working for corporations and, you know, creating someone else's dreams? Or are we going to wake up and start creating the dreams and the life that we want to live? And align it that's in harmony with nature. Because there's a lot of elements in our society that have been against nature. So I worked in the Amazon for many years. This is in the Amazon cooking up a very powerful medicinal brew. Many people fly from all around the world to work on cancer, addiction, AIDS, you name it. They come down to the Amazon to drink this medicine. And so I worked with an herbal company. We were the largest importer of rainforest botanicals in the world. I'd go down there and do expeditions, and we'd research plants, and we'd work directly with the Indians, the Shipipo, Ashaninka, and many other cultures as well. And so I learned a lot, and also putting these plants in my body, they really taught me a lot on a visceral level. They flipped me on energetically. And I've been studying holistic health for 25 years. I was a Versace model, and I started studying health really for my own, really to look and feel my best, to make money for my own career. And so I started studying internal purification, cleanse and detox, and herbal medicine. And 15 years later, I got turned on to this company. I met the guy in the front of that boat, Amazon, John Easterling, and then we started working together. So this is a Steiner quote: "What is necessary to keep providing good care to nature has completely fallen into ignorance during the materialism era." So, you know, Steiner was early 1900s, so he was quite the visionary. And his material is very hard to study, but if you can find a book that distills a lot of it, you know, he was the father of modern day organic farming, biodynamic farming. And that's the highest level of organics out there. You got wild, then you got biodynamic, then you have Oregon tilth, then you have USDA, then you have commercial, then you have GMO. So that's the top of the food chain, is wild. So if you can go out into the woods and harvest some berries and barks and roots, and you know what you're doing, that's the highest level of nutrition you can find on the planet. It works down from there. So it's just time to wake up and realign ourselves with where we're at. And you know, I like to make this point. Let's never forget, we are nature. We are the environment, right? When we think of mosquitoes and bees and all that stuff, that's part of nature, right? So are we. You know, we're right there. We're animals. You know, it just so happens that we're animals that can make a difference on this planet. We're the only ones that can actually make a difference, and we're the ones that are creating the most issues. We're in symbiotic relationship with this planet. There is absolutely no separation. So it makes sense that we've been pumping toxic compounds into the environment since the dawn of the industrial age, and 100 years later or so, what are we dealing with? Right? Chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, cancers 1 and 2, obesity is 70%. Obesity, that's a stress body. Any kind of obesity, that's a stress, and I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Because my teaching objectives today are about to bringing the nebulous into the practical. So real practical tips of how you can help yourself, help your family, and help others. So at this particular time in human history, it may be optimal to harmonize with the laws of nature instead of manipulating and attempting to dominate science with politics. Dominate, you know, so-called, because there's a lot of science out there that's actually research bias. Is everyone aware of this? Because I'm on the internet and I get a lot of flack. People want scientific proof that, you know, you need good soil and clean water to be healthy. And it's like, what kind of scientific proof do you need to know that you shouldn't be putting toxic waste in the places where you eat and drink and breathe? I mean, this is common sense. So, and a lot of the science has been bought and paid for by the chemical companies, by the drug companies, by the oil companies, and they dominate the universities. So it's good that we understand this and we really know how the systems are in place so we can go beyond them. I'm a Buckminster Fuller fan, and you know, he was an incredible engineer. He was like Einstein and Jacques Fresco, you know, rolled into one, and brilliant human being. He was Einstein on his own. And he said you never fight the existing system. You create something that you want to live, and the old one will go to the wayside. It'll just fall apart. And so it's about designing our next world. So we're connected, and we all have children. We're at this school. We take care of children. We're the stewards of the children, and we're the stewards of the earth. We all are. And so one of my main philosophies is healthy me equals a healthy planet. If we all just took care of our own personal real estate, then the earth would be fine. Meaning, like in the current society, I can just lead really by example. I have a car. Yes, I do. I still utilize oil. However, I use that car the least amount possible. I use my feet and my bicycle as much as possible. I eat organic food as much as possible. And so I support the earth as much as I can while I'm working inside the systems. And then I utilize the media and commerce, the two conduits that are flowing right now. And I just use life affirmative messages instead of the opposite of what we see right now, which is...
Troy?
Yes?
Alpha biotic treatments, what do you think about those? Do they work?
Yeah, that's a great question for the end. And so alpha biotics, yeah, there's a lot of healing modalities, and I recommend trying all of them to see what works for you.
So the alpha biotics work?
It's a pretty aggressive adjustment, so I advise people to watch it and get with someone that's very good if you're going to do that level of adjustment.
Do you know someone who's really good?
Yeah, well, we can communicate afterwards, and so it's a very aggressive physical chiropractic adjustment, and I'm not that aligned with it.
Okay.
So, okay, so we're moving on. The good news is, I've been in this movement and been teaching, whatever I've learned. I've been juicing for 25 years. I've been telling other actors and models, you're in front of the camera, take care of yourself. Here's some herbs, clean out your liver. Juice, it's a good practice. So the good news is there's fresh pressed juiceries everywhere in Santa Monica and Venice right now, right? So people are getting aware that if, you're taking care of your body, it's going to make a difference. If you're eating the junk, the ugly stick is not far behind, right? Right? GMOs, let's face it. We see a lot of subcultures that move to this country as immigrants, and they start eating the same traditional foods that they're eating, but they're eating genetically modified organisms, and they get diabetes and obesity within 5 years. So, this is a big issue. So the bottom line is this is the way I view the world. I see things changing. Organics are popular. All the chefs are at the farmer's market. I used to go there, and there were no chefs there. And now it's crowded with all these chefs. Farm to tables are popping up everywhere. I just moved to Main Street recently, and I'm on Main Street, and I'm thinking, if you don't have an organic restaurant in the next 5 years, you're going to be out of business because people are hip. They want to spend their money. We all got money, and it's like we want the highest quality for our bloodstream. And so, you can either go to a place that has Cisco, processed, garbage that they give to all restaurants, or you can go to a farm-to-table restaurant. Which one do you want? Prices are the same, right? That's the crazy thing. You go to these high-priced plate restaurants, one could be serving Cisco garbage and one could be farm-to-table, and the plates are about the same, or you're not going to be in business. So, and it usually comes down to presentation. So, I believe that we're going through the quantum leap in human consciousness right now. This is exemplified. Consumers are rejecting processed foods and GMO foods. I work and have interviewed the #1 consumer advocate on genetically modified organisms and labeling GMOs. He's been doing it for 19 years. And he said that there is a tipping point of consumer rejection right now. So keep advocating GMO-free foods. Again, if people are eating GMOs and commercial food and pesticides and herbicides and antibiotics and all these things, the ugly stick is not far behind. Disease is not far behind. Watch Super Size Me. If you don't believe me, that's the most abject side of GMOs and chemicals. So within 30 days, he had renal failure. Does anybody remember that movie? His kidneys were ready to shut down. And it took him months to detox off of that too, right? So So again, I see the fresh pressed juiceries, you know, herbal options, healthy options are everywhere. Also, you know, people see Elon Musk and his Tesla car company and they go, oh, Tesla. Why would this billionaire name his car after Nikola Tesla? So if you start digging into Elon Musk's philosophy, it's pretty powerful. Because he went to the practical. He knew he just couldn't change oil. So he went and built a race car first, right? And then sold that to the people that could afford it. It was a $90,000 electric car. And it outperformed Ferraris and Porsches. Does anybody remember that? My friend had one of those, the little roadsters. And then that fueled him to make the S, which went out to the people who could afford that. And now the X is coming out, and it's even more, less money. So the technology's higher, less money, and his goal is to get these electric stations. And then I think he's got his fingers and pockets in other energy sources, but he also has a space program. So this guy's no ding-dong. And if you want to know anything about free energy, study the history of Nikola Tesla. He had more inventions than Thomas Edison. So I believe that free energy will set humanity free. Once we get off oil, petrochemical byproducts are in drugs, they're in chemicals, and these weapons, you know, weapons manufacturers are designed to get the natural resources out of the earth, and these multinational conglomerates are all intertwined, and it's kind of holding us in place right now. They own the universities, they own the media, and the bottom line is Nikola Tesla already tapped into this. J.P. Morgan funded him in the early 1900s, and as soon as he tapped into free energy, he burnt down his laboratory and discredited him. And he died a poor man. But he had more inventions than Edison. So look into the history of Nikola Tesla. What was he all about? Why does Elon Musk name his car company after that? So free energy is coming on the planet. I studied. I went to the Mayan and the Incan temples all throughout South America, and these megalithic stones, 180 tons, some of them. No equipment on the face of the earth can lift these right now. There's plenty of theories of how they moved it, but there was no wheel and no horse in South America. So the question is, how'd they move this stuff? You know, was it harmonics? You start to look into, you can also look at the Coral Castle in Homestead, Florida. Again, megalithic stones that people moved around using who knows what. But the fact of the matter is if this has existed before, and or if you believe in all possibilities in quantum mechanics, which is the cutting edge of science right now, then you know that we can invent anything, right? It's human innovation and intelligence. All we have to do is program our minds. The Wright brothers have done it before. Steve Jobs and these computers, you know, this is all brand new. We forget that. So if somebody can dream up this, I can dream up free energy, right? Or at least talk to people and get the balls rolling. And then once it's in the human template, once we start thinking about it more, then it'll start manifesting out into the flesh. I think it's said somewhere, thought, word, action, manifest in the flesh. It's one of those spiritual texts from a long time ago. So I see loads of ecological goods. So somebody writes me on Facebook, I see loads of ecological goods coming in our stores in Sweden. We don't have a lot of farmers market as you do, but I really see some change in the stores right now. And it is, as you say, vote with your dollars. When people show that they want health food, they also get it. Lovely to see that you and like-minded people spreading all this information out there. It's really needed. And that's it. Guys, all we have to do is talk to each other. We're human beings, right? We were designed to be tribal, right? And to connect with people and to, you know, what is the psychological component called? Strokes, right? Well, that's a physical stroke. That's a mental, emotional stroke. But we were designed to connect with each other. To really connect with each other. And a lot of the way the society is set up right now is, I'm too busy, I gotta get to work. And most people are working in jobs that are not aligned with their values. And this, again, creates a stress. And I'm gonna get into the factors of stress right after this. So we are the solutions to our problems. Human ingenuity and innovation will take us to the next level of evolution. It always has, right? You look at, you know, Marco Polo when he started, you know, investigating faraway lands and stuff. We brought spices back. I mean, this has been going on for the longest time. Somebody gets a wild idea up their head. It's like, you know, I got a wild idea. I'm going to save the planet. You know, the planet doesn't need saving. Okay, well, I'll save the humans then. And so, but working in the Amazon, I got a taste, a very good taste of, you know, how we're systematically just chewing down the lungs of the rainforest, right, for industry. And not that that's bad and we just got to, you know, stop cutting trees down because the Indians use the tree. The fact of the matter is we've got to use our intelligence to create sustainable systems for the next level. Just because a corporation or an industry does it for the cheapest cost doesn't mean it's long-term that's still going to be cheap. We're cutting down our own ecosystem that affects every aspect of the economy and everything else. It's just that we have short-term myopic vision. So as above, so below. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. That's the Gandhi quote. And I say healthy me equals a healthy planet. If we just pay attention to our own real estate and we help the others that don't know, you either connect them to my videos, or I can talk to them on the phone, or you share with what you know. These are very, very simple principles. Within nature lies the cure for humanity. I took this in the Eo Valley on Maui. Anybody been there? It's an amazing, amazing place. I love the planet. I've traveled extensively, and you know, wherever I go, I just try and get out into nature. Is there any nature lovers out there? I know you're a bicyclist, David. I see that. I observe. I always look at who's doing what, you know, out there. How, you know, how's things clicking along, and so. As politically charged ideas and alternative agendas around climate change and global warming are heating up, dividing people on semantics, it's a good idea to simply have respect and reverence for our life support systems that make living on Earth hospitable. And if you know anything about oxygen levels in Mexico City and Sao Paulo, LA used to be one of the dirtiest cities in the world, but the oxygen levels are decreasing. And this, you know, is very important for cellular health, allowing the body to regenerate and the immune system to kick in and really be vibrant. And so, you know, air, water, and soil are the critical components. It's the common human heritage. So if we can at least agree on that, you know, the spin doctors are out there going climate change, and you know, the red and guys don't understand, and the blue states, and it's all this bipartisan. It's all by design to divide and conquer us. All we have to do is respect the earth and the ecosystems. It's not a good idea to be pumping billions of pounds of toxic compounds into the environment every single year. Can we have a moratorium on that? We called a moratorium on DDT that we pumped into San Pedro, which is still contaminating the Santa Monica Bay. 50 years later, did the same thing in Chesapeake Bay. What we ban in this country, we export to Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos and stuff like that. DDT is still exported in this world to developing countries. So the fact of the matter is we've got to create sustainable ways, you know, outside of that. And the first way to do that is to advocate. So my vision is, and I had a very clear vision in the Amazon in 2006, clean air, water, and soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime. And so when I'm around people, I ask and I invite people to just hold that vision with me. That's all you got to do. If you want to do nothing else, just hold that vision with me. If you can share it with somebody else, great. But as long as you're holding it, it doesn't matter. Because this is, the world's going to change, and it's going to happen right here by the mind and the template of the human collective consciousness. Good questions to keep in mind when deciphering the political and commercial jargon. Is it holistic? Is it good for children? Is it good for adults? Is it good for the earth? If I poured it in the stream, would I drink the water? Is it sustainable? Is it equitable for all? Is it good for me? Then it should be good for the earth. Does that make sense? These are very practical things, guys. This isn't any wild cockamamie, like, Troy Casey's all doped up on that political thing and he's trying to change the world. This is common sense stuff, guys. Yes?
As far as drinking water goes,
yeah.
Is there like a brand you would recommend, or filtered water? What do you think of?
Yeah. I made a video on it, and I recommend watching that in all my videos. Grab a sticker when you get back there. But spring and glass is the best, and then work your way down. So Mountain Valley, if you can afford it, it's $25 for 5 gallons. Get delivered straight to your door. So Mountain Valley, if you want. If you're liking harvesting your own spring water, there's findaspring.com, and you can go up to Big Bear or wherever you want. And it's very labor intensive, but it's doable. And I know people that do this. So it's not. I'm sure it's not in your alley because it's not my alley. I personally get RO water, reverse osmosis, which zeroes out a lot of the chemicals.
Is that the filter?
Yes.
That's what we have.
If you have a bolt-in system and you own your own home, then your water's fine. You can purchase a vitalizer or other minerals. A vitalizer is a blender that tornadoes your water, that structures it. So I have that. I've had that for about 8 years. It works great. I feel hydrated. So I like Gerald Steiner in glass. That's my favorite. And then, you know, RO, because that's going to get most of the contaminants out. You're still going to be dealing with homeopathic residue of drugs and feces and toilet paper and stuff like that. You have the homeopathic imprint of that if you're drinking commercial water supply. So some people don't like that, and they want to reverse that as well. So there's plenty of filtration systems that if you want to go down the rabbit hole. But if you have a bolt-in system, it's probably pretty high level, and you have zero contaminants in it. Then just leave it at that, and then I'd work on structuring your water from there. Buy a vitalizer. You can get them on eBay for $500. Mine lasted me 8 years. So it just spins the water, it structures it, and it goes over a coral calcium charge. Because when it's in the earth, it's going over rocks and minerals for however long. It's getting all structured. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the video I did elaborates on everything I just said. So here's a Bucky quote right here. So how do we make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological damage or disadvantage to anyone? Right? This is my vision. People tell me, oh, what do you want? We're never going to get off oil. And okay, that's your vision. That's not my vision. My vision is transformation and change now when it's needed most. And Martin Luther King, Buckminster Fuller, I mean, these guys, Martin Luther King was like, his quote is something like, I don't believe that the starry night of racism will always be a part of the human template. He believed in something, more. I'm the same way. It's like, and we can believe our vision out of the situation that we're in. And so, status quo, that's the way it is. You go into the physics department, you start talking about free energy, they're going to kick you out of school. Well, that's not the way it is. Whatever we can conceive and believe, we can achieve. And that's the way it is. That's the manifestation principle. That's the creation principle. It exists on this planet since day one. That's the information that we need to be sharing with each other. Your thoughts and words and your actions are actually what create things. So this is totally possible. Our lifestyle, you look at our lifestyle, we fly around in these SUVs, pumped full of gas. Where's that gas coming from? Anybody know? Quick guess? Iraq, Afghanistan pipeline, Syria pipeline, Libya. Why did we go into Libya? Right? There's other human rights violations in other countries, but why did we go into Libya? There's oil over there. It's number 9 in oil. Number 5 is Ecuador, and we're down there. The Amazon, the number 1 deforestation component in the Amazon is oil. Ecuador is number 5, Peru's number 6, number 4 is the dictator, what's his name, Chavez? Or, the oil's just, it's touchy business. We got to get off oil. It's holding everyone back. It's polluting the skies. It's polluting the earth. They put the petrochemical byproducts in women's skincare and lotions and drugs, literally as fillers, preservatives, binders. And they use it to spray on pesticides and herbicides because it helps, the oil helps it stick to the crops. So we're eating oil. It's time to get off oil. So, and let's get clear here. Let's get real clear. Anybody know someone with a garden? Right? How much extra food do they have?
Lots.
Tons.
Piles.
Right?
Always sitting out.
Give. Here, take some. Food is free, guys. If we get back, I mean, I know we're all in our jobs and we've got jobs to tend to, and even I don't have a garden right now. But the fact of the matter is, you can get some seeds and you can put it in some dirt and you grow some food. Right? Piles of the stuff. Literally. I mean, these guys were all farmers I was hanging out with at the Heirloom Seed Convention. And this is just one event. It was under-marketed, but it was so beautiful. I mean, I was eating watermelon for days. It was just tons of watermelon from all over the nation, and all these heirloom seed farmers. It was like you were giving food away, just giving it away. It was brilliant. And these aren't the dominant commercial farmers. These are just your average guys holding on to those seeds, right? Seeds are so important. The women used to trade the seeds. And so met some really good people. This is in Santa Rosa in September. It was a great event, the Heirloom Seed event. So these are 1,000-pound squashes, 1,043 pounds. Is that incredible? I mean, you drop a seed in the ground and you can feed an army. So here's chocolate in the rainforest, right? So practical tips for everyday health, 6 foundation principles. Hydration, we discussed that a little bit. Nutrition, eat organic food at this point in time in human history. You're worth it, your bloodstream's worth it. You know, make the investment for your own bloodstream. And that, you know, people ask so many questions to me about nutrition. Just eat organic, farmer direct food and eat whatever you want. Does that make sense? If you're going to Wednesday Farmer Market, have at it. Go home and pig out. You can't pig out on real food. You get full. The nutrition goes boom. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Okay, sleep.
Organic? Like
What?
organic from Whole Foods? Is that
Just get the highest quality you can.
okay?
Organic ends up being another tag word. So farmer direct is ideal.
Farmers market?
Farmers Market Wednesday.
They
I
don't
mean, it's,
have anything organic. I mean, I know we talked about that it doesn't have to be organic, but I've been to this farmer's market, there's no organic fruit at all.
fruit.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what part of the season, because there's plenty of watermelon guys that do. The cherries, you got to watch it.
One said they had, yeah. I don't know when it was though. It was last year.
Ask around, because you can source. They've got organic oranges, and a lot of the farmers don't spray.
Apples.
They don't have the organic stamp, but they don't spray. And so, you know, just engage with your farmers. That's how we're going to change the world, is when we care and, you know things make a difference, and we're all talking about the same thing. You know, it's like we can't complain. Oh, the world's getting terrible. Everybody's so sick. I'm so sick. I hate my job. And the weather's weird. Why is the weather so weird? You know, why do we have a drought? Huh? What's going on? Okay, all right, let's wake up. You know, there's only one choice: wake up. And anything that's holistic and in harmony with nature, it's pretty easy to align and kind of just figure it out. You don't really need me, although I'm happy to entertain you anytime you want. My YouTube channel is full of videos to entertain you. So sleep is so important, guys. We are harmonized. We rise and fall with the celestial bodies. This is never going to change. When the sun rises, so do your cortisol level. When the sun goes down, that's when your melatonin, your restorative hormones come out. So there's been research done on this. Get to bed at 10 o'clock as much as possible and turn the lights on in your house. If you want a good thing for your computer, there's one called F.Lux, and it just dims the light. It takes all the blue out of it, and the blue is what keeps you up and starts messing with your hormones. I'm going to get into hormones in a minute when we talk about stress. So sleep is a huge factor. I learned this the hard way. I was doing emails and editing and all that stuff after the children went to sleep early on, and I was like, why am I so tired? And I wasn't just tired, I was exhausted. So sleep, get to bed at 10 as much as possible. I'm doing so good right now. We got the kids on a nice schedule. I'm like 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's like, it's too early? No, it's not too early. I'm going to bed, man. And it feels so good, and it helps me stay up and energized. So sleep is very important. 10 to 6 a.m. is the best studies that have been done. So physical rest is from 10 to 2, and psychological rest is from 2 to 6. So, and I work with a company that has a great tart cherry juice, and it's the only plant on the planet that releases melatonin naturally. Because you don't want to be taking synthetic hormones at all, even if it's vitamins, right? So it helps you sleep like a baby. 2 teaspoons, and boom. Lucid dreaming, REM sleep, really good stuff.
What is it called?
It's called a tart cherry juice. I have a $50 gift card for anybody who wants to try our products. So movement, how important is movement, guys? Our lymph is connected to our whole body cavities. So you've got the pelvic floor, you have the transverse abdominal, and then you have the diaphragm. And so this is what pumps the body. So it's essential because a stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool, right? So your lymph is your water, your interstitial fluid for the human body. So moving that every day, however you move it, walking is the best exercise, in my opinion. Because everyone can do it, it's the natural flow for us to move. I also teach very basic Tai Chi, and you can see that on my YouTube channel as well. I've got one move that moves every vertebrae, all the synovial fluid, and the cerebral spinal fluid up and down the spine throughout the body. You just do this, you can do that for 10, 20, 30 minutes a day, and it totally harmonizes everything. And moves everything too. Movement doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to get in the gym and pick up weights and get on machines and not know how to use them and all that stuff. Just get out in the park and start walking. That's how I stayed in shape since the kids came. You know, you got the bugaboo and you got, you know, one in the backpack, and you know how it is. But if you just walk, you'll be fine. And you got a backpack, you know, you got a baby on your back, you can move, you can push the cart, you can move. So movement, however you get it. I'll get into a little bit after this as well. So thoughts, you know, obviously you want to reprogram your thoughts. We're like an antenna. So whatever you're thinking about, you're going to attract. If we have negative thoughts, those are great, but just flip that coin over, right? We live in a yin-yang paradox, right? So if you've got a negative thought, just flip that thought over, program it positively, laugh at it too. Be like, oh, that's cute. That thought just popped into my head. Okay, well, we don't have to make it, we don't have to validate it or give it truth. We can just program our mind. That's the great thing about our mind. Our mind is a tool, literally. They don't teach you this stuff in school. You just simply program it with what you want to see out in the world. And if you don't know, then you can go on YouTube and pick up some Louise Hay or some Bob Proctor or Les Brown, some of these Tony Robbins, motivational speakers or people that have cured themselves with cancer, like Louise Hay. She's got, you know, great affirmations, daily thoughts to keep you, just to shift your consciousness a little bit, you know, because the mind is a tool. The mind is a tool. We have to understand that and program it to what we want to see and the life that we want to live. Right, Gina?
Yeah.
So breathing. So how important? Breathing's so important because it also is attached to cellular respiration. So depending on, and we all get emotional and we can get caught up in here. So we're just breathing up in here. But your apparatus actually goes into your pelvic floor. So whatever is going to get you breathing into your pelvic floor, whether you can get your energy up to do sprints, or whether you can lift heavy weights, or whether you can just do Tai Chi and Qigong. This opens up the whole breathing cavity, right? Breathe all the way out. Empty it from the bottom of your gut. You don't know what the bottom of your pelvic floor is? Just keep emptying it until you can't breathe anymore. Let your stomach hang out. Let your abdominal wall work, because this is actually our support system for our spine. So really get that breathing apparatus going. You can also get on your hands and knees and just breathe into your belly. Just make sure that your breathing apparatus is working, as you continue on in life. If you got any kind of neck pain, back pain, this can be a cellular respiration issue. So your body's not getting enough oxygen to flow properly. And so you want to get your ribs, your upper thoracic. One of the best things to do, this will increase your breathing 50%. I call it 8 hands. And I have this on my YouTube video. On my YouTube videos, I go through a lot of these things. I mean, if you just get out in the sun, bare feet in the grass, and you just start figuring out, oh, I got a kink in my neck. Your shoulder is such a complex thing, and it moves in such complex movement patterns. If you just get out there and figure out your own kinks, I mean, that's Qigong. Qi or Tai Chi. Qi just means energy. Gong means practice. So as long as you're harmonizing your breath with the movements, you're going to harmonize the biological oscillators, your brain, your heart, and your gut. And that's important, because when those things are aligned, then we're much more peaceful, much more harmonized. And so any questions that you guys come up, feel free to contact me as well, and I can direct you to one of my videos. Walking's going to increase your breathing. So is yoga. Detoxification pathways, I think it's ideal to cover some of these because, how do you detoxify all these toxic compounds and things that are in the environment? And, people think of detox, you drink alcohol and then you get hungover and you got to detox that stuff out of your body, right? So it's the same thing with anything that we're living. If you allow your organs to rest, your body will run optimally. But if you don't give your body a rest, you run the potential of constipating your organs. And depending on, sometimes we're younger and our metabolism is higher, and then we get older and things slow down. I mean, the way to look and see how your liver is looking is just to look straight into the mirror. How do I look? How do I feel? How clean are my eyes? How clear is my skin? Oh, okay. Let's do a liver flush. Let's do a 10-day cleanse. I've got a great 10-day cleanse. It's very anabolic, and it's easy for anyone to do if they want to cleanse their whole body out. So respiration, that's why it's important for movement and breathing. Perspiration, whenever you can get into a sauna, anytime you can sweat stuff out. Urination, so you can do kidney flushes. Defecation, you can do bowel detoxes. Exfoliation, you can do mud masks. You can go to the beach and do sand, when you're in Hawaii and you have the softer sand, or some of the tropical waters like in Miami. And then I have a dry skin brush. I like to, your skin's the largest organ in the body, so it's a great place to detoxify. And it's easy. You can go to Whole Foods and get a Yerba Prima brush, and you just brush your skin a couple times a week or a few times a month or whatever, and kind of sloughs off any kind of pimples or blackheads, and just, and there's microscopic stuff that we don't see either. And so you just kind of rub it. You get it well, there's more lymph glands, stuff in here, your groin, back of the buttocks, everything, even down on your ankles and stuff like that. And it exfoliates, but it also brings the circulation, brings the blood to the surface, and then it releases the toxins. So what can you do in these areas for balance? So I specialize in internal purification and detoxification. If you guys have any questions, and I recommend researching my 10-day cleanse because it's holistic and it's people are getting incredible results. I'll be doing my next cleanse end of May. 6 factors of stress. I wanted to illuminate this just because stress is such a nebulous concept. Oh, I'm so stressed out. But usually we think of stress when we blow our cool, at the end of our rope. But what is actually causing this stress? So taking the nebulous into the practical. So you got physical stress. You've got, do I have enough rest? Was my workout too hard? Am I working too much? Am I exhausted? Do I have the proper nutrition? So there's a physical stress. There's chemical. So many of these stressors are unseen. And remember, stress summates in the body. So the body hormonally does not recognize whether a lion is chasing you or whether you're breathing in toxic dust from the airplanes or, whatever level of pollution. I choose to live near the beach, but there's plenty of people that live downtown, right? And then they have to assess their own health level from living in a dirty city. So you got electromagnetic. Now here's one big thing that we're not even factoring in. Does anybody think about this stuff? Does anybody research this? Because this is a big deal. Flora, you might be interested in this. They were trying to put a cell phone tower up on top of, we lived in one of the buildings over here on San Vicente, and the neighbor got wind to it. And there's a lot of research up in Canada. They put one of these cell phone towers in a very remote area, and this Mountie got cancer, and it was killing all the birds. The birds were just flying by it. They were just dropping off. And so he did the research, and he went up to Calthorpe, the private school up there, and was like, they're trying to put a cell phone tower. This is no bueno for our health. And well, the president of that school did her research too, and got all the parents to sign. And they didn't get it on our building. However, they put one on 4th and San Vicente, and it's a small one. Now they have these little Cisco boxes. And look, I enjoy my cell phone too. I enjoy Wi-Fi. That's not the discussion. The discussion is, what's the next evolution of human consciousness? Let's redesign these systems. Nikola Tesla invented the 60 megahertz cycle. And as soon as the wires, and JP Morgan ran the wires across the country, Tesla was like, oh, well, my research shows that this isn't good for the human body. And they were like, well, tough. We already spent all the money on this. And this was early 1900s. That's just the 60 megahertz cycle. We're not even talking about microwaves being penetrated throughout the environment like it is now. Cell phone towers, we're going to have to reinvent this. There's no doubt about it. We can enjoy it while it is, but again, some of the indigenous cultures that I've studied with, these things are prosthetics compared to what the brain can do. We can't forget that. To what our brain can do, what we can do with plants, what we can do as a collective, in ceremony, intention, these are the things. You know, not just, you know, a bunch of corporations getting together going, how can we make the triple bottom line bigger, right? You know, because that's the motivation for a lot of these corporations. They're not looking to, you know, what is the absolute health of the human being. And I think the Russians, the Israelis, they did a lot of research on this during the Cold War for spy technology. So electromagnetic frequencies, cell phone radiation, all this stuff is extremely dangerous. Keep your cell phone on airplane mode as much as possible. Keep it away from your head. Use an earpiece if you can, and turn it off, and turn your Wi-Fi off in the house. And I mean, if you've got compromised health issues, you can get Faraday cages, which are mosquito nets made out of metal filament that will protect you while you're sleeping. Because remember, you restore your body when you're sleeping. And this comes from one of my colleagues up in Seattle, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt. He's done all the research on the autoimmune, autism, Lyme's, MS. I mean, the research goes through and through it. A lot of it he's done on electromagnetic, because this is an unseen stressor. It's pummeling people and not allowing them to repair when they're sleeping at night. And he's relating a lot of the autism to this as well, because the women are getting hit while they're sleeping with the baby in the womb. And they got a Wi-Fi box right here, and their neighbor's got a Wi-Fi, and they're getting hammered by Wi-Fi. Boom, boom, boom. So again, these can be more stresses. So at least when it comes to your home or your cell phone, or you get out to the park once a day, right? I talked to a ham radio operator out in Palisade Park, and he had a big antenna, and he was, you know, communicating with somebody internationally. And I asked him, and he said, yeah, I live in West Hollywood, but the static electricity in the city's crazy, so I come out here. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, it's going on, but this is just an unseen stressor. So by the time we get home and we're exhausted, or this is one of the factors, electromagnetic, right? Especially in this day and age.
What about the Bluetooth in the car?
Well, Bluetooth, you're getting the same level of stuff.
Do you know about these?
Is that the Aries?
This is an Earth Calm one. They also make a whole house system that you can plug into and it creates
Neutral.
It creates the Earth's magnetic field actually in your house, but this goes on the back of your cell phone.
What does it do?
It's Earth Calm. It neutralizes this electromagnetic energy system. Earth Calm is the company. Earth Calm?
It's Earth Calm. My mentor just did a lot of research because a lot of people send him these things, and he found this company called Aries. So if you look up Paul Check blog and then Aries EMF, if you Google that, it should turn up his blog, and then you can look. He researches a lot of these devices, and because the energetics are changing, a lot of time the energetics of these devices, unless they're reprogrammed, they can change. You can also get an orgone generator or multiple orgone generators for the house. They're like little cones, and they put metal and crystals in them, and then they put some kind of epoxy, like a gel, and it compresses them, which sends out an electromagnetic pulse that neutralizes the energy, like Gina was saying. So my friends make orgone generators as well. You can email me, and I can send you information on that. So you got psychic energy. You know, anybody ever walk into an empty house? Anybody ever walk into an empty stadium? Never? Before a concert? before a concert or after a concert or setting up for an event? Anybody walk into a live stadium? Rock and roll, baby. Energy's different, right? So you're dealing with psychic energy all the time, right? You get into space, people are just being negative. It's like, so you're dealing with, this is another factor of stress. So we want to be cognizant of the people that we're hanging out with and the energy that's surrounding us. Then you got nutritional, we went over that. Just eat organic, keep it simple, eat organic. And then there's thermal, is it too hot or is it too cold? And these affect us all, and depending on how much body fat we have on our body is our ability to handle some of the thermal. And so stress kills dreams, so manage it wisely. Sympathetic nervous system is the lion chasing you versus the parasympathetic, which is the idea of being in a hammock drinking a Mai Tai underneath a palm tree. So these are our two nervous systems that are always balancing. And remember, biochemically, our sympathetic nervous system, this is for survival. It's in place for a reason. We're sleeping in a cave and there's a noise, man. You want that cortisol through your blood, knocking out the melatonin and alive in a second. Well, there's no more lions. Yet the economy and the electromagnetic pollution, these things are all stressing us. So we've got that proverbial lion chasing us. So how are we mitigating it? How are we getting back to balance the parasympathetic nervous system? So, because that's what you want, right? You want balance as much as possible. You can't get rid of stress. Stress helps us grow, Stress is one thing that helps us keep clear in our environment, right? It's like the ego. A lot of people want to dismiss the ego and stuff, but the ego keeps us alive too, right? So these mechanisms are in place, for our own survival. So it's critical that it's key that we know what they are and we work towards balance, because balance is really, the middle road. So are your values aligned with your work and your life? Are you doing the things that you want to do? I know we all get married and have children, and then we could. It's not so much what you want to do, it's what you're willing to let go of. Okay, this is my reality now. I wanted to do that. Now is this optimal choice for me? So we can always go back and reframe that. However, if we don't assess these things, this ends up being another stress in our life. Are we working with what's aligned with our values? Are we making the money that we're worth and we deserve? These are just deep philosophical, personal questions. However, if you're living outside of alignment with your values, that's going to create stress in your body. That's going to create psychological stress, issues. So, cortisol, adrenaline, and insulin are the primary hormonal pathways. So, we don't have these, we don't have life, and so, and we don't get to the sex hormones or anything else until these are taken care of and balanced out. So that's why food is important, eating organic food. The body doesn't recognize food substances, things that are not food. In fact, it taxes the system. Sugar, anything that you're putting into the body out of balance, then the body will have to balance and regulate that. When insulin goes into the bloodstream, it's cortisol, adrenaline. Cortisol drives everything. These are the primary hormonal pathways. Stress summates in the body, which again means all these unseen stressors could be going on continuously. And then by the time somebody needs to be picked up from school or somebody's screaming or this, that, and the other thing, boom! You flip out because stuff's happening. So when the body is stressed, it releases cortisol driven by adrenaline, which will exhaust the body over time. So if we're constantly stressed, finances, living a life out of alignment, poor food choices, poor, not moving our bodies enough, not getting the kinks out of our bodies, these things summate in the body, and so and can create disease as well. So that's why it's key to manage. So does anybody want to know what the antidote is?
Yes.
There you go. So do as much of the stuff that you can incorporate into your life. I brought my artwork here. My mentor taught me to do art. Just buy some pens, This is so like healing. Here's an alien guy I did. I mean, just drawing is just so healing. You know, you get back into that childlike behavior, and it's right brain dominant. The world we live in is left brain dominant, and so this allows you to let go. The antidote, you know, part of the antidote is detoxification. We went through the detoxification pathways, walking, qigong. You know, if you can get into any one of these practices, that's why I teach walking, because you don't need a DVD series to understand how to walk. Go out and walk. If you want to bump your health up to the next level, take your shoes off and walk barefoot. It's got an antioxidant component, and it harmonizes the energy of the earth. Yoga, I definitely have to demarcate the difference between restorative yoga and power yoga. Power yoga is an extreme exercise, and most people, unless you're in your teens or 20s, probably shouldn't be doing that, because it can exhaust the body. Get into an Iyengar class, go do some restorative or postnatal yoga. Just get down to the ground and stretch your body, breathe and move, and we give it all these names, but if you go down to the beach and do this and you walk away and you feel better, what do you call that? Exercise? You call it whatever you want, but the fact of the matter is, if you just do it, you're going to feel a lot better than not doing it. Your connective tissues, they get solid. Our emotions, tie our body in knots, and depending on our oxygen levels and our nutritional levels, we get to wash out that uric and lactic acid. Right? So we got to get in there and move. Sauna is another great way. Hot springs, if you can find them, just research them. There's Mercy Hot Springs in Central California. There's Tonopah out there. There's Harbin in Northern California. I think there's Beverly Hot Springs is right here in LA, and I do believe that has very restorative waters. Going out and having fun, defining fun for yourself. The art is a really cool thing. If you guys don't have pens and a notebook, just go out and buy it. I mean, it's a great way to play with the children, and it's so amazing. I didn't think I could draw either, and I was like, the stuff that comes out of me is just amazing. And then, of course, having fun with your loved one, that always helps. So, getting out into nature. I love taking nature pics. This was in Australia last year. The daisies are on steroids down there. So this was in Australia as well. This is up in Yosemite with the kids. And so barefoot walking is a great way to reduce stress, energize, harmonize. The one in the corner is in the Amazon. Anybody recognize that?
Sedona?
There's only one place like Sedona. The reason the earth is red is for all the iron content that's in there. And the other one's in Australia. So this is a little bit deeper in philosophy, but it's really where my mind goes as well. We must do away with the absolute specious notion that everybody has to earn a living. It is a fact today that 1 in 10,000 of us can make a technological breakthrough capable of supporting all the rest. The youth of today are absolutely right in recognizing this nonsense of earning a living. We keep inventing jobs of this false idea that everyone has to be employed at some kind of drudgery because, according to Malthusian Darwinian theory, he must justify his right to exist. So we have inspectors of inspectors and people making instruments for inspectors to inspect inspectors. The true business of people should be to go back to school and think about whatever it was they were thinking about before somebody came along and told them they had to earn a living. Buckminster Fuller was an engineer and a designer and just a brilliant human being. That's why Athena goes to Reggio and Troy goes to Waldorf. I mean, I want my kids with problem-solving skills, with imagination, going out into the world where they can identify the things that they're not programmed by the systems. They can identify what's going on, and then they can dream up the next version of what they're going to do. Sue was just telling me, they taught it in science class, the recycling here, the awareness around water and the drought and everything, that's huge. And she said that the children are going to save the world. Of course, that's correct. And so I also believe in a world without money. There's a movement out of South Africa called Ubuntu, and this guy fought the world banks, and he went around all the ancient the sacred sites in South Africa. There's over 100,000 of them there. He did a lot of research that I did, but Ubuntu means contributionism, which means human beings just giving their gifts. You know, everything is going to come out in the wash once we're aligned with the gift economy. People go, oh, who's going to clean the bathrooms? Well, you know what? I like to walk out in that park all the time. And if I had to clean the bathroom for 1 hour or 3 hours a month, I'm willing to do that. Now, some people out in the audience might not be willing to do that, but that's okay. There's probably something that they're good at doing anyway. So, you know, things are going to get worked out in the wash when we don't have to go and work for corporations that are actually destroying the earth. And once we're clear on that. So, nature is busy creating absolutely unique individuals, whereas culture has invented a single mold to which all must conform. It is grotesque. So it's Krishnamurti. And so, you know, because ultimately it really is about, you know, the kids. And if you look at those clouds up above, you know, I didn't study those clouds when I was in elementary school. I don't know what those clouds are except for speculation and whatever pollution are coming out of the airplanes. But that is not a real cloud. And whatever it is, we're breathing that in. And you can see that almost daily. So humanity makes it, and so I ask everyone to hold the vision with me. I've seen the vision. We make it.
Woohoo!
Yeah! That's it. That's all you got to do is, you know, hold the vision. We're there. Quantum leap is happening. So any questions I'm happy to address or answer, or let me make some more.
That's pretty rich right there. Everything you share.
What do you think about using a Vitamix to blend vegetables?
I think the utilization, you know, there's different theories on everything. You know, some people are into the fiber, some people aren't into the fiber. I've been juicing for 25 years, so I don't necessarily use a Vitamix yet. I just don't have one.
But it's
fine. I mean, the thing is you're getting organic vegetables from the ground. You're getting organic vegetables from the ground, and you're making them available. You're getting organic vegetables from the ground, and you're making it bioavailable, and you're drinking it. It's food. Yeah. So.
What was, by the way, the thing you said about Carlthorpe School? Because we're going there next year.
Did they stop the tower?
What did you say?
They stopped the
They stopped the tower.
Oh, they stopped the tower, but then he said they put a little one in, right?
No, the company who wanted to put a big one got stopped by Carlthorpe, but the company still put a little bit one that.
But on 4th and Sympathetic, which is where the
You're not the
school
only
is.
one.
So there's a small one, but not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's just.
No, I think it's still a big deal, but I guess they could have stopped that.
This is wheatgrass, spirulina, organic berry, organic apple,
There's still a little one.
rice bran solubles, activated barley. That's it. Carrot juice, I think. Everything is freeze dried the second it's juiced. The question is, all you have to do is like, does my body like it? We basically made wheatgrass taste palatable. If people don't like this, I mean,
But
I've got real wheatgrass.
I was going to
That's a
say,
completely different
powder
ballgame.
versus the real stuff. Like, obviously, fresh will have more nutrients than the powder, right?
Yes, but here's the thing: not everybody has especially a wheatgrass machine. She's talking Vitamix. I mean, wheatgrass is even more labor intensive. Here, I'll make.
But Vitamix is a lot easier than juicing, though. But I think you're gonna.
Yeah,
You just
and plus
throw it
you
in
keep
the-
the fiber, whatever.
Yeah, but I think if you want to juice too. It's just a lot of work and a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, I do
The vitamins,
Oh,
yeah.
you do the vitamins. What do you use for the, do you use like almond milk or what do you for the?
You know, whatever green vegetable, like your spinach or kale or anything like that, and some berries, whatever you want to put in
So
there.
do you put like water? Do you?
Water.
Oh, you
Or
do
if I have a
like
bit of
some
juice left, you know, I'll just put it in the water. Just put
I just
water.
wanted
butter.
to
Okay.
picture my supplements or generation
Oh yeah. Walk that to left. Okay. And then it's on the right. Okay.
instead of just taking some.
Yeah, I just like, you know,
Yeah, just whole foods.
whatever you would like in there, you know, for the liquid part.
Yeah.
So I like, since I don't use mine always right away and kind of leave it off.
That is
you know, I'll just,
I recommend the
put
10-day
any
transformation.
dairy,
Start
I
out
used to
with
put milk, you know, but almond milk is fine, yeah.
Do I go to your website?
Well, you gotta watch all the milks and the chips and all that stuff because they're called what's displacement foods. The milks you have to watch because there's carrageenan and xanthan gums, and some of those can be inflammatory agents for people that have gut issues. So ideally, you just do the Vitamix. If you
No,
get,
I do Vitamix, but I do it with almond milk and vegetables. Should I not do them? Like, because you need.
I would make your own almond milk. You got a Vitamix? That's what a Vitamix is really
But
for.
it's
Is
not that hard to make
How do you
almond
make-
milk.
You get unpasteurized raw almonds from the Heirloom stand that's right over here. They have cucumbers. And then you soak them overnight. Watch a YouTube video. Soak them, and then I think 12 to 15 hours, and then with high quality water or the water that you have at your house, and then you throw them in the Vitamix with a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of honey, and then you blend that, but then you got to take a cheesecloth and get the skins off of it, and then it's great.
That doesn't sound like something.
I mean, it's very labor intensive. This is our wheatgrass.
But it makes a lot at one time, so if you do it once, it lasts you a week probably. Right?
See?
Yeah, it tastes
And now you're happy that
No,
one.
this wasn't bad.
Right.
One of the things, sorry, I was
There's
just
apple in
question.
it.
What
Apple's
do you
very-
think of that coffee creamer? Is that just terrible?
Oh.
Pure
Is that the
stuff, and
worst
this is
thing
what
you
they
can
did to make
have?
taste better. They put
Yes,
alcohol in it.
because it has hydrogenated oils.
I know. So what do you?
Butter. Make bulletproof coffee. Write that down.
Bulletproof coffee.
They're opening up one on Main Street. But make bulletproof coffee. If you're gonna do coffee, do super high quality stuff.
Oh, like not the cake coffee.
Look up bulletproof.
Bulletproof coffee.
Look at.
Oh, I've heard about that.
They're opening a bulletproof coffee on Main Street.
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof.
Do you know that one David Wolf has too?
You add fat, you add grass-fed butter and coconut oil to it, and you spin it in your Vitamix, and it makes the most delicious cappuccino. And the fat helps the caffeine metabolize. So you do 2 to 6 ounces of fresh espresso, and then and everything organic, and then grass-fed butter and coconut oil. And we have coconut oil, organic coconut oil on our line as well. You want to try the wheatgrass?
Yeah.
Is it sure?
Yeah, there might be a little residual from the other one.
And then like you can't.
Look good.
But you can put butter. They were suggesting it as a
You want to try the wheatgrass straight?
I tried.
Maybe someone else.
No, I think somebody else told me about that.
Chloe, do you want to try the wheatgrass straight?
Oh, sure.
Tom was telling me about that. Yeah. And he said it was the best coffee ever, actually, with the butter. It was really good.
So this is just our powdered wheatgrass. Is that better for you?
So good to me. This tastes really
Right.
good to me.
Well, you're acclimated to it as well. But we couldn't sell this. We couldn't sell this.
It's not bad. It's just
Yeah, no, you can
it doesn't really taste like anything.
We couldn't commercialize this. We've been around for 23 years. But the wheatgrass, I mean, that's why they designed the power shake. So it would taste that for everyone else.
It
And so,
actually tastes good to me. It's not like it tastes bad. It's neutral. It's so cute because somebody has a no wasting water sign in the bathroom. My daughter's 20 and she went to
Did you grab
so
some
it's
salt?
like, to see if the conditions are on the stage.
this is as much as you want. 72 trace minerals.
I don't usually use salt.
It's a nice,
Okay, well,
nice glossy
yeah, just stay. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you guys is just stay away from the 4 white devils as a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
So it's pasteurized dairy, white sugar, white flour, and white table salt. Anything that's denatured is going to wreak havoc in the body. You know, you see the drug advertisements, 42% of all drugs and 25% of all cancer drugs get their footprint from rainforest plants. So that's when they take the plant and they standardize and isolate the one chemical, and then they synthesize it, they make it fake. But that one thing will wreak havoc in the body, and that's where all the toxic side effects. So whenever you denature something, that's like taking salt out of the salt mines, separating sodium, selling the rest of the minerals back to farms, because they're minerals, so they put them back in the feed and all that stuff. Again, it's all about profit. And then they take the sodium and they sell it as table salt. They bleach it, and they put other caking agents in it, and that's why it's garbage.
What was the fourth thing? White flour, white dairy,
Sugar.
oh, white sugar.
So
What about like cooking, like oil? What's a good oil?
coconut oil and butter and ghee.
Coconut oil or butter, that's it.
And we have high quality.
Obviously not canola, but what about like olive oil?
Don't cook with olive oil.
Oh yeah, that's just
The heat.
too much.
We have coconut oil by the gallon with our company, hand packed. I mean, I put it in my hair, I put it on my skin, I put it in my smoothies, I put it in. I oil pull to get the bacteria out of your mouth. It's really good for that too. You swish it in your mouth for 20 minutes. So
Your company's online?
yes, and I have a $50 gift card for anybody who wants to try our products. Here's my old card. Find me.
Let me see that. It's hilarious.
So, any questions? You got my phone number, my email. I don't have the $50 gift card from my company, but my,
I thought this was that one.
yeah. Here, the code for my card is just Troy Casey.
Okay.
So, you want to save $50 on your purchase?
Wow,
or-
expect to lose 5 to 20 pounds on a day.
Oh, the cleanse is amazing. Here, let me give you